It's the middle of November and winter has been making an appearance here. As you can tell, the grass is turning quite brown. Leaves are brown. Some trees are completely empty of leaves now. The weather's actually pretty nice today, a bit warmer. We've had quite some cold weather lately. And as most of you probably do, we make quite a bit of changes with our feeding routine, especially for those cute little goats over there when the winter gets here and it gets cold. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. So let's get started. One thing that we do is make sure that the cows have plenty of tasty hay to forage on. Since they don't have any grass anymore, forage is really important for animals. It helps keep them warm and toasty during the winter. And these cows are really enjoying this new hay we got. It's a really great quality. We were so blessed to get it. With the birds, we don't make a lot of changes. We basically just up the scratch feed in their mix, and so we really do kind of a half and half during the winter, where we might only put 1 bag of scratch feed to 2 bags of regular pelleted feed during the normal summer. We also increase how much they're eating, simply because there's not much for them to eat. There's not much grass, there's not many bugs, so they really will rely on what we feed them at this time of year. But other than that, we don't make many changes for them. We're in the feed room right now, and yesterday we got a lot of feed. I haven't mixed it up yet because it got too dark on me. Been getting dark quite early, about 5:30, 5:45. So I'm going to be doing that today. And wanted to talk just a little bit about our feeding practices. And everybody's different, and everywhere you go, you're going to have different needs for your animals. So it's good to talk to people local in your area and find what they're feeding, what kind of deficiencies you might have. But this is what we do for our animals. Because we have quite a variety, we kind of have decided to start with a base feed and mix a lot of our own feeds. The base feed is kind of depends 14 to 16%, depending on where we can get it. Base dairy feed, excuse me. And we use that as the base for the cows, the horses, and the goats. The chickens get a different kind of feed, including the ducks and geese. They all get something different. But as far as the rest of the animals, we start with that feed right there. And it comes with different names. Most of the time it's called 50/50. Sometimes it's called dairy feed. It just kind of, like I said, depends on where we get it from. And then from there, with the cattle, we mix it with range cubes. And during the summertime, they don't hardly get anything. Or if they have a great deal of hay, they don't get a lot. Just kind of a little snack here and there. And they have their minerals that they need. And then we'll just watch them and adjust as the winter goes along. Or during the summer, kind of watch them to see if they need anything more. And with the horses, they actually, their food is mixed with, we're using the Safe Choice Original right now. We were using even a higher fat, but we finally found a good mix to keep good weight on them. And so we kind of are doing a half and half for them with that. The goats, on the other hand, they're kind of my little pampered critters. And we do quite a mixture for them. And during the summertime, they get mainly the stock feed or the dairy feed, and then I will mix in some alfalfa pellets usually. If we have access to good quality alfalfa hay, which we don't right now, this is actually Bermuda hay here, But if we have access to good quality alfalfa hay, I won't mix in the alfalfa pellets, but right now we don't have access to any, so I mix in alfalfa pellets, and I try to do that year round. In the winter, we change things up a little bit though, and we add some other things into it. And let me see if I can find some of the things here. I'm not sure if I know which bag's which yet, because we went to a new feed store and everything's kind of different in different packages. But we add black oil sunflower seeds, and that's a great thing for adding extra fat to their diet, and I find it's a great balancer, phosphorus, to the alfalfa, which contains a lot of calcium. Now, a lot of people who raise goats do not use alfalfa because they worry about the calcium content. We find that it gives the goats easier births, and so we like to use it. It's also a very good quality, very high quality ingredient, lots of nutrition. And so if you're worried, if you've got wethers like we do, where you're concerned about calcium blockages, urinary blockages, giving them some of the sunflower seeds does help. It balances out that calcium phosphorus, so that you can, it's just better for them. But we like to use it especially in the winter because of the high fat content. We also tend to use Lespedeza pellets. And Lespedeza pellets are a type of grass, or more like a type of weed. It grows wild around here. Some people even consider it to be kind of an obnoxious weed. But it is known and has been tested for parasite control in animals and natural parasite control. A lot of different ideas of how much you have to feed them. But we do it in the wintertime. In the summertime, obviously, with it growing wild, they have access to it as much as they want. But during the wintertime, we like to include it, and just to help keep parasites at bay. And then you'll see here chaff hay. Here's another one. Upside down here. Chaff hay is a fermented alfalfa, and it's good for all the animals. Really is. It's kind of like probiotics. It's got a yeast in it. I don't know if this bag, if I can find any of the yeast. Sometimes there's white yeast in it, but I don't see any in here. You have to, of course, watch for mold. It molds very easily. This is why we don't use it in the summertime, because I cannot use it fast enough. I know some people who separate it into large bags and keep it in their freezer to prevent spoiling, but ours, we just don't have a freezer big enough, so we just use it in the wintertime. It's great. It's kind of like a probiotic for us, you know. It helps enhance their digestion and build their immunity, and you know, in the wintertime they're under a great deal of stress, so we really like using that. So yeah, that's pretty much what we do in the wintertime. So we have the base dairy for the goats, the alfalfa pellets, the Lespedeza pellets, the black oil sunflower seeds, then we feed hay, and the chaff hay. So yeah, they get quite a big mixture there, and probably make the biggest difference for them going into winter. So that's pretty much it. You can probably hear the animals are telling me hurry up and mix this feed and get feeding them. They're hungry this morning. So I am going to go ahead and sign off for now and get busy.